Hey everyone, I just got my new Hungry Bin and I thought I would do a box opening for you guys so you can see what the whole thing is like when you purchase it. Okay, so top of the box. Pretty nice, pretty quality. It's got some metal staples up top. Let's start opening. This looks like the lid. Oh, actually the lid is connected to the bottom here. Some parts in here at the bottom. Wow, pretty simple. Nice packing. Wow, this is super efficient. It fits in here super snug. There's not much waste in this box. I'm not shipping too much air actually. This out. Look at that, the wheels already come assembled. Looks pretty good. This is a galvanized axle. It's got some screws on the end. These things look pretty robust. Some Allen. These almost, I was gonna say they look like stainless. They might be stainless. I'll have to get a magnet and see. Some nice screws on here. Thing looks pretty robust. Galvanized. I think this goes into the bottom of the box. So, looks good. Back to the product. So one of the nice things about this product, you know, that's quality move right there, using a screw. They actually could have put that wheel on with a press fit, you know, something that gets pressed in, and over time that thing starts to rust out and it comes out. But you know, they used a quality screw there, and again, stainless screw, you know, it's gonna have some longevity. So I think that's a really great indication of the quality of the product. The poles, you know, the poles are galvanized, and to be honest with you, I can't really expect them to use any kind of stainless for this, but yeah, the galvanized should hold up just fine. It's actually the end. If we look at the end here, it's not bad. I mean, it's kind of standard thickness pipe. I wouldn't say it's like super duper quality, but it seems all right. So let's go into some of the other details. So the lid, it's got a nice handle, fits on your hand quite nice. And then there's really small perforations or holes in the lid, and you know, it's in a pattern here. I guess that these guys have kind of determined the optimum penetration or the amount of air that's supposed to evacuate this container. I think they must have calculated that, but yeah, it seems all right. Open it up. This is the inside. Again, that paper on the bottom, the parts inside. Again, super quality. This is just super thick. Really nice ribbing around it. Even these latches, I think, is really those kinds of things are what you really want to look out for. And to be honest, they look pretty good actually. I think those are for the latches. Four of them on here. Even in the body here, looks to be pretty good quality. Kind of hard to see. Let me get that bag opened up. I'll show you what's inside that bag. Okay, so before I went any further, I went and got a magnet to find out what kind of hardware this was. And the screw in here, it does hold a magnet, which means that it's probably not stainless, although it looks really like it is. But then when I come back to these screws and I put this on here, it also sticks. So these are not stainless screws. They just have a nice finish on them. So that's something to be aware of. The pole itself obviously is galvanized. you know, the coating is as good as it doesn't get scratched. That if it gets scratched, it's going to probably rust out in that certain place. But I don't really see that as a big problem. The only reason why I would want these to be stainless is over time, if you have to service it or replace parts, then sometimes those things can rust out and it gets really hard to undo the nut to the screw. But I don't really see that as a huge downside. The other thing that I wanted to look at is I brought my micrometer, and those of you that aren't familiar, what this does is it will give you a super accurate dimension and tell you how thick things are. And I use this a lot in my design practice. I'm a designer. So I brought that out here. Get the magnet. Brought that out here because I wanted to really find out how thick the wall on these pipes were. So I brought that out here to kind of give you an idea of that. It's actually pretty good. So thought I'd get a measurement on that, and we can have an accurate measurement for that. Looks like it's point. Should turn it so you guys can see it. 0.05. It's probably, since it's from New Zealand, it's probably metric, which is about 1.25 wall thickness in terms of millimeters. All right, so let's take a look and see what's in this bag. I'm hoping that there's some instructions here. Here we go. Looks like it's in Spanish. Manual de Usuario. And this is actually the company. Actually, if you go to this site right here, there's my pointer. If you go to this site right here, there's actually a really good page which describes how you put it together and all that. But that's not where I bought it from. Actually, looks like I might have to go to the website. Oh, look at this. Maybe here's the English version. Okay, I spoke too soon. Here it is. It's an English version. Well, you know where this is going up. This is going back in the bin with my worms. Okay, so here's the owner's manual. And again, same thing. Looks like it describes how to use it, maybe. Choosing a location, how many worms. That's good. So I can read through that. And then it has the assembly instructions. This should be super simple. Oh yeah, this is it. This is the assembly and the parts. And actually, it looks like they even give you an Allen key here. Put it together. How to start your Hungry bin. This looks good from start to finish. And then also in that package was this part here, which are the clips to hold one of the bins onto the bottom. Here you can see here where that happens, down here, here. So it looks like we have to put these onto the bin with some kind of screw. I'm not really sure. I don't really see any screw, but they did give us an Allen key. So here, actually pretty good quality part. And then if I can also maybe check out the steel. Let's see, where's my magnet? Here it is. Let's see if this is stainless. Oh, interesting. It does not stick to that. So this appears to be like a little piece of stainless on here, which is nice because this is actually pretty important that maintains its strength and doesn't rust out over time. I wonder if these spring clips, I would be really surprised if these tension clips in here, oh yeah, see the tension clips are not stainless, which is what's holding that in there. But this one is stainless. it's sticking actually to that rod. But I have a bin here that broke, and so I wanted to measure this. It's actually broken in a couple places. So let me get a measurement on this, and that'll give you kind of an idea of what this thing feels like, because I think we've all kind of experienced that. Look at that, I can just tear it off. So let's measure this. See what this measures out at. So this is 0.084. That's pretty thin. I think that's probably around a little less than 3/32 of an inch. And how many millimeters is that? It's a little over 2 millimeters. So this bin, this Rubbermaid bin, is considerably thinner than, say, this other one, this Hungry bin, which I can show you here close up. Mike's out to be about 3.5 millimeters. Put it back on inches. 0.14, which is a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch thick. So it's considerably thicker, and it actually, you know, it feels pretty durable. So one of the reasons why I'm so concerned about the quality, or I'm trying to give you guys an idea about the quality, is because this is what I paid for my bin. And I think that we could all agree that there are cheaper bins out there. And so when I'm paying that kind of money, I actually want a pretty good quality product. So I'm trying to give you guys an idea of like where your money's going. Beebe, what do you think? Beeps, good quality? Let's look at these other pieces. Actually, this bottom tray is super thick. This piece here, actually. So this tray is pretty nice. I think it's just as thick. You know, it's not terrible. Let's see what this makes. It's a little deceiving because there actually is a rib here, so you can't really get a very accurate dimension. But one way we might be able to do it is to look at these pieces, because generally the wall thickness is consistent, and that's miking out at 0.098, so it's a little bit thinner. But it's pretty good. And this piece here, this is super thick. You know, that's pretty rugged. And let's see what that mics out at. That mics out at 107, so that's a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch. It's pretty thick. This one seems way thicker than everything else. Like this one's hard, super hard. And that's good because this is the one in the bottom that holds all of the weight in the bin. So this one actually has to be strong, and it's also the one that takes the clips on the side, so it has to be pretty rugged. I don't really see anywhere here, maybe because this also has a little bead. I can't really get an accurate read on the wall thickness for this part, but it's definitely thicker than the others. And then this one is considerably thinner. This is more like the Rubbermaid, actually. It looks, if you look at the wall thickness here, it actually looks to be about the same. I'm gonna get that closer. Looks to be about the same, actually. Let's get a mic on that. What did I say that was? 0.083 roughly. This one is, oh, it's 1/8 of an inch, right on the money. So this is a little bit thicker than the Rubbermaid. And all around the inside here, it's pretty quality. Even up in here, although that looks actually deformed. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get a round pipe in there, but it'll probably stretch out. It's definitely deformed off the tooling in the mold. But this is super rugged. Even in here, you get some nice ribbing. And then on the clip area, there's a really nice detail here of the reinforced section for the clips. So actually, I think that's a good sign. That means that these guys have really kind of scrutinized the durability of that area. So I'm pretty hopeful for that. Okay, just want to kind of show you the fit of this part and the bottom. What goes on here. This is This is the other part that fits on to here, and what's really nice is it doesn't even move. I mean, like I can't even when I move it, try to move it, it's super tight. So the fit and finish on this is really, it's extraordinary. I mean, it's really well done. It's super tight and it's really strong, and I really don't see, even in here where the clip is gonna go, there's some really nice reinforcing here. So I'm super confident about this product right now. So I'm gonna put this clip in here. This little key sticks in there, and that's why that's reinforced so it doesn't rip out. If that extra, let me get this closer right here. You can see if that wasn't there and this thing goes down in here, over time the weight would just start to tear that, and this whole section would kind of rip out. But they've got some nice ribbing in here, so that's a really nice detail that they thought about the future, the longevity of this product. Let's get that in there. I'll show you what that looks like. You hear that click? So there you can see that thing is kind of clicked in there. And that way that whole thing is not gonna rip out because of that extra ribbing. So that's quite nice. Now I'll just show you here how that top goes on. Put that on here. And it goes like that. It just kind of almost snaps in there like that. And you can see on the side, if you look at it from the side, kind of what's happening there. That little extra piece down there on that lid keeps it locked in. Just pull over. That worries me just a little bit, that's going to wear down. It might have been better. I don't know how they could have done that. Maybe inward rather than to have that piece rub off, because if that rubs off, well, then I just have to rely on gravity to hold this here. So I don't know. Maybe this whole clip here, we'll see how long that lives. I guess I could always, since there's another one on this side, I guess I could always rotate it 90 degrees, and maybe that's why each side of this lid actually has this feature on here, because there's actually no clip on this, but yet the feature is here. So maybe what they did was they planned on that this might rub off in, a certain amount of time, and then you just rotate it 90 degrees and then you get a new clip. That's really nice. So let me show you kind of what I'm thinking is that if that one wore out, you would lift it up, just turn it 90 degrees, and then you have a whole new one that works just like new. Because frankly, it is new, because you wouldn't have ever used it. So that's really nice. One thing that I noticed as I was playing around with this is that there's this little piece up here that it's got this ring on here, but there's actually nothing that attaches to this. And frankly, this would be a great place if you wanted to route your, say put a tube on here and kind of route it out that way, or wherever you wanted to do with it, or even connect it to some sort of system that would, if you had like 5 of them, you could run the juice out to one location. But I don't really see any way for this to be connected to pipe. It's not really high enough to actually put like a pipe clamp on. Let's look at the height of this thing. This is, I gotta turn it on. It's 300,000. So it's a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch, a little less than 3/8 of an inch. And it'd be kind of tough to get a pipe clamp on there. I mean, I guess you could, but gosh, if they just made it that long, if that made it that long, we'd be able to easily get a pipe clamp around that. So that confuses me a little bit, because this is so well thought out, the way that you get 4 of them, but then this thing you can't even attach a pipe clamp onto. It's strange to me. Now let's look inside the bottom of this bin right now. So down here is where the hole, all that liquid that builds up kind of drips out. And what's nice, I don't know if you can see that reflection, but it's kind of got a slow taper, and then it would be able to drain out here. Then this part here fits in nice. and snug, and actually gives you a little bit of space between the plastic and the liquid. That generally, you know, like sometimes when you have things that come to a really sharp point, things can get stuck in here. But this is nice and smooth, and it's generous. It's a generous radius, so I think that the dirt and the compost is really just going to slide through here quite nice. There's really nothing that is going to prevent it. Yeah, and this whole thing, again, this whole thing comes off right down here. If I undo the latch, just right through there. It's great. And then the other thing I thought that I should show you too is this top section. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we can get that into focus. This part here is where the lid comes on here. And so this part here it's really nicely reinforced, because what happens is when you put the top on like that, those tabs go down in there like that. And that extra reinforcement in there is nice. It hits those holes, and you know that this tab is really going to engage well. And that just sticks in there. You can kind of see, get the camera up, and kind of see what's going on there. So those three pieces, those are actually three hooks that are holding the whole thing in. Rather than just one, there's three of them. That's nice. And there's actually, on each side, there are those hooks. So that thing is in there really nicely. It's not going anywhere. There you go. You know, the handle is pretty generous. Fits really nice. It's not really too loose. This thing is not really, it wiggles a little bit, but it's pretty good. This is probably the only part that's not really doing too much. Like, my only concern with that is if I had like a hungry raccoon or something, that they might be able to get in here. But actually, what I could do is attach a bungee from this point, probably, and bungee it down to this bottom edge down here. If I ran a bungee from here to here, it would probably keep this lid closed to keep critters out. And then we'll spin it around here. Look at the back. This is the handle. The handle is, the hinge. This lifts up. Again, pretty quality. You know, they could have just had one of these on here, but they put two on each side, and looks pretty solid. Even this is pretty solid. There. So that's kind of nice. You can take this off, wash that. This whole lid can come off. You know, you could take this out back and spray it off. Clean it. That's nice. All right, let's see how the assembly goes. So the first step actually is to take your wheels. It has these fittings here. And it says assemble the frame by sliding one leg through. There we go. You can see the wheels now. It's kind of assembled, and you would tilt it back and, you know. Bring this over. I don't know what direction this goes in. Not sure that it matters. Let's see. So these things need to be in the same place as the wheel, according to the instructions. And you just take these poles, stick them in there. Oddly enough, you know, that's about it. This one's already in. This one is in. Just push them down all the way around. So it's together. You notice this thing is not even. So I'm kind of wondering what's up with that. Is this because of this thing is it's not set the same or what? I don't know. See how it's not down all the way. I hate to hit that with a hammer, but it is. No, it's not. Something not right. It's flat here, but when I flip it over, it's not. So there we go. Okay, got it straightened out. I actually had to put it on the floor. I kind of jump on it a little bit to get it to sit down, but I would not recommend hitting these corners with a hammer because you're going to dent the tube and you're probably in the process going to scrape off the galvanizing, which is then going to start to rust this pipe. And in fact, one of the things that I've noticed is doing this is that when the bin is down on the surface, you'll notice, get the camera a little closer here, when it's on the, if it's on the ground at these legs, what's going to happen is underneath here and underneath here, it's going to be scraping, in my case on wood, but if you have this on concrete or you're outside somewhere, maybe even on pavers, the bottom of that part, the bottom of this foot is going to get all scratched. And when that gets scratched, it's going to start to rust. So they probably should think about putting some kind of a, either a piece of rubber or plastic. I hate to say that, like more plastic, but something needs to happen here where they can protect that pipe, because if this rusts out, well then the whole thing can't stand, and then you're going to end up buying new poles. Okay, so here's our parts. We have the top bin, the bottom half with the cart, so you can wheel it around. We have this tray, juice falls out of this hole and down into the tray. And one thing I have to say is that I don't understand this. This whole thing is so well thought out. Everything fits super nice. You know, the latches connect really, you know, super tight. Everything's great. This thing, this is like an afterthought. I have no idea why they're doing this. You know, they could have at least maybe incorporated this tray somehow into this rail system. Perhaps this bottom rail system would have made a nice, really nice, easy slide for this tray, or kept it off the ground, or, I mean, this is just, I could put a pizza box down here and do the same thing. So, this is probably my least favorite part, but oddly enough, I'll show you, this tray actually is considered. Like you'll notice, one of the things about this tray is the corner. See this corner? It's different than this corner. This corner has got a little drip edge, so you can take your juices and you can pour it out with better control in that corner. Like, I don't understand, why didn't they just do that in every corner? It's only two corners that do that. So it's funny, I look at this tray and I think, wow, they didn't really do anything with this. They didn't really consider this. But they did. It's almost like they stopped halfway or something. So time for a redesign on that part. The rest of it so far looks fantastic. Okay, so the last part of the video is just to put the top on the bottom, bring it outside and fill it up. So hopefully the video was helpful for some people, and maybe I'll do another video about filling it up and kind of the use of it. Thanks for watching.